Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. We're back. It's Monday.
Happy Monday.
I hope you all had a great weekend. Who we got here? We got Ghost Hunter, Paint Liquor, Chuck, Bean, Ben, BEEN, Osobi Paints, Oak Wren, Papa Chicken, Wad Tomaton, Gentry's Minis, Cynical Peanut, Panic Bomb Arcade.
Cynical Peanut.
I like it. Sugar Rush, Video Game Archaeologist, Nicholas, Tech Elf. What's going on, everybody? How was everybody's weekend? Did you get a lot of nerd stuff done on your 2 days or maybe no days of time off? Because, some of you may work on the weekends. Regardless, I hope everyone's weekend was good. How was your weekend, Jen?
It's fine.
Uneventful?
Uneventful.
Yeah. Those are the good kinds of weekends.
I needed to do nothing and relax.
Yeah. That's what we did.
There was a secret stream on Saturday, so not really.
I heard, well, I didn't hear about that, but I saw that when I looked at his side of the table.
Oh. You didn't get the Discord notification?
I'm going to be honest, Saturday was a very busy day for me. I was not looking at Discord notifications. Also, I have them turned off, although I should probably turn them on.
Weekend was interrupted by Fuse, not complaining.
Yeah,
Slow
you guys
Fuse,
got to see cool stuff.
Whose new best friend is Kevin Bacon.
That's so funny.
You have not seen our Discord.
That is so funny.
You need to go in our Discord. Our pal Bud is amazing.
I can't believe that happened. That's so good.
I've watched that video like 15 times at least.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
It's funny because it kept on playing every time Jason would open up Discord.
Oh, really? Like you can
He's
hear
like,
it.
I hate it. He loves it, but
Yeah.
I suppose I should probably make sure that this is all good.
Panic Bomb had a super
What's going
productive
on?
weekend. Awesome. Doing a bunch of larger projects through a step or two each. Nice. Sounds like a good way to do it. Dale McCormick, hello. Ghost Hunter said that isn't Devandra.
It's enough. I've been wanting to paint this guy for a hot minute. Jason said I could pick, so I picked.
Warpgate Studios, hello. Not too bad. We had some storms yesterday.
Oh,
That
it was
always
so,
helps cool things down a little bit.
It was so weird.
Jason just shortened everyone's 6 degrees list. Jason's got very short. And we all have Bud to thank.
So where did that 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing start? I don't even know where that came into being.
Well, so there's 6 degrees of separation.
Okay.
Which is that everybody is connected to every other person in the world by
Right.
at least 6 other, no more than 6 other. And then, I don't know. I think it just turned into like a little party game that, well, Kevin Bacon has been in movies with a lot of people and he's got a very diverse range. And so the game is that you can connect any celebrity to Kevin Bacon through movies.
Right.
Within 6 degrees.
Okay.
So, the Kevin Bacon video happened game delay because Friday, I don't even know what we were talking about. Movies?
We were talking about movies or something.
And something Footloose, I think, came up. And Jason said something about Kevin Bacon being great. And Bud, who is in chat, he might not be here now, but we know Bud from chat. And Bud of the lovely emails. Every time he places an order, he sends us a really nice email. That's when he
great.
gets it. And so Bud is a a sound engineer at a music venue. and happened to be in chat when we were talking about Kevin Bacon, and he said, "Well, actually, the Bacon brothers are playing at my venue this weekend." And so, as a joke, I
wild.
said, "Hey, you need to tell Kevin how much Jason loves him, and then film it and send it to us." And sure enough, this morning, I'm looking through support emails, and I see one with the subject line, Kevin Bacon. I'm like, oh, yes. And it was that video. So
That's so funny.
Bud did it.
Bud made it happen.
He made it happen.
That's insane.
I know. It was awesome. Camel Driver said, what PSI and what needle size are you using when airbrushing?
So this is a 3.0. I generally use a 3.0 whenever I'm priming. 5 works great too. I wouldn't use anything smaller.
0.3, right?
0.3.
Okay.
Yeah. Or 3 millimeter. Oh no, it's 0.3 millimeter.
0.3.
I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I'm
that
sorry.
would be really big.
It's been a long Monday. Yes, 0.3 millimeter or 0.5 millimeter. We don't have the 0.5 millimeter, so we use the 0.3. But if you have 0.5, that's also great. And as far as PSI is concerned, we spray it like 22 to 25. Works great for us here in Arizona. Your mileage will vary. Generally, you got to find the best one that fits your airbrush and your environment, because everybody's environment is going to affect those things a little bit differently. But generally speaking, you want to stick around the 20 to 25 range.
There's Bud.
What's up, Bud?
That was amazing.
That's
It was so fun.
Cool that happened.
We love that. Definitely made my day. It was a great start to the week. Papa Chicken, the concept has been around for probably 20 years or more. Maybe I don't even know. That's maybe like when I first heard about it. So it could be more than 6 at this point because the population has grown so much. I don't know. But the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, try it. It works. Video game archaeologist, IDK Dave, D-Fresh, Source, hello.
Hello. I can't believe I'm actually painting this model right now.
Why?
It's the first model that I worked with a sculptor to get made.
Yeah.
It's a very cool moment.
It's kind of cool, huh?
Yeah. Just like how Ben was super excited because it was the first, time one of his concepts was brought into physical reality.
Form, yeah.
It's a very cool moment for me. Sculptor is also a good friend of mine, so he does some pretty spectacular work.
Very cool.
So I'm very excited about this.
Papa Chicken, you can cook up some bacon. Go for it. I don't think it's that unhealthy, in moderation.
Bacon?
Yeah.
Bacon's great for you. Look, if there's anything that I can tell anybody out there, it's that bacon is good for the soul. Not so good for the waistline.
In moderation, everything is fine.
Correct. In moderation, everything is fine.
Camel Triber wants to know if you will add zenithal highlights. Is that something you advise?
So, what? How do I answer this? So, I don't generally do a ton of zenithal. I might do it on this model. But for most things, I don't generally recommend it because it's a lot of extra work for not a whole lot of additional value. It can be a great tool to help you identify where the highlights belong on your models. So if you think that something like that would be a great benefit for you, then definitely give it a shot. As far as a practicality for using zenithal highlights, for me, I use them when I paint like bigger models that I'm going to be spending a little bit more time on. This definitely fits that boat. So I might do that. But I'm also still trying to figure out what exact colors and mixtures I'm going to be using on this guy. We're going to fit the the color palette on this. So we're going to utilize that. But I still need to figure out what that color representation is going to be. So we're going to figure that out. So I know that's a bit of a weird answer, but the answer is yes, you can definitely use zenithals. It's a great tool in some cases when you want the benefits of what the tool gives you.
Zenithal is ugly, according to this European YouTuber lady.
Well,
I mean,
you don't have to listen.
To have her opinion.
Yeah, she's entitled to her opinion.
Then you can disregard her opinion.
Correct. Turns out opinions are just opinions, and you can choose whether you listen to them or not.
Yeah.
Which is kind of awesome, if you think about it.
And unless your opinion involves like breaking laws or anything like that, then you should not worry about what anyone thinks about your opinion. Don't let them make you feel bad because yours is different from theirs. Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Jello.
I see that you snuck in on a Saturday to get some painting done.
Jello, I do what I want. You're not the boss of me.
I didn't say you couldn't do it or that there was a problem with it. I was just making a statement of fact.
Hi, chat. How we doing?
I think we're doing pretty good. Talking about 6 degrees, or rather 1 degree of Kevin Bacon.
Zenithal is ugly, according to this one European YouTuber.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird one. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep, there he is, Kevin Bacon's new best friend.
Kevin Bacon's new best friend.
Yeah. BFFs forever.
If you're trying to sneak, don't announce what you're doing on Discord.
Yeah, exactly. Jordan doesn't pay attention. Alerts were sent. Show was live.
That's what I said.
What's going on, Wad?
Such is life.
I like the swirly purple.
The swirly purple is really cool. How'd you get that? You just
It's all in very
dry
rough
brush
state right now, so it's been pretty fun. How'd you do what?
How'd you do the purple? You
Just dry brush.
Yeah.
Jason trying to ruin everyone's stream streak.
Yes,
By
that
sneaking
was
in
my
on a
whole goal. We actually
Saturday.
talked about that. that was the goal.
And Jordan didn't come to keep you company. You were stuck with chat. Poor Jason.
They were horrible to me
Were they?
all day long.
I mean,
Rude.
Are we super surprised?
Rude.
They do that.
Yeah,
though.
that does check out. So.
Yeah, that does check out.
Rude.
People gonna peep, Jason.
People gon' peep.
People go chat, go chat.
Chat gon' chat.
Dragon Skull Studio wants to know if you're bringing anything new and exciting to Gen Con. I'll tell you what they're not bringing. Me.
Sorry, Jen.
And I don't want to hear about any empanadas.
When was the last time I
Those
said anything like
when
that
you
in
get
your
back,
presence?
I don't want to hear about them.
I've literally told her
talked
she
to them?
could go in my place to every
you talk
show.
about them there,
in
and
the
on
history
way
of shows.
back, but
And
once
she
you're back, you don't get
refuses,
to talk about
chat.
him anymore.
So don't listen to her.
Yeah, Mike said, look, you built this community, so if anything, we are kind of your fault. Thanks, Paint Liquor. We'll stay here in Arizona.
That's
We'll show
probably
them.
pretty true. I'm okay with taking the blame for this awesome community.
Yeah.
All I have to do is take blame for it. Seems like a pretty good deal, right, Jason?
But really, are
Depends
you
on the day.
bringing anything new and exciting to Gen Con?
I mean, we're going to have Age of Anger there.
Yeah, the game.
Age of Anger.
That's pretty new and exciting.
A board game
Philip?
convention where Monument Hobbies actually has a board game.
That's actually pretty.
Philip
pretty
will be
sweet.
there. That's exciting.
Philip? Yeah.
I feel like if I went to the show instead of Jason, HQ might burn down too soon.
And our front door's not
No fire
even made
jokes.
out of glass again yet.
No fire jokes. I have asked him every single time, and he keeps saying, "Oh yeah, I'll get out there with the guy. We got to measure it." I'll send him a message again when I'm done here.
Also, I will message him as soon as I'm done here.
Be nice if it happened someday before the sun burned out.
Shelby is so young. Does she count as new? No, because she went to Gen Con last year, didn't she?
No.
No.
This is her first Gen
Her
Con.
first Gen Con.
Adepticon, or LVO was her first show.
LVO, Adepticon. So she's not new.
She's not.
She's been to shows before.
She's never been to Gen Con though. This is a pretty big show for new people.
Yeah, thanks. Just rub it in. I'm not going. They had to.
What'd
The
she say?
firefighters
She
had to
said,
smash through the glass door.
Thanks for rubbing it in. I'm not going. Thanks for rubbing it in. is what
Told you,
said.
she
Glass
has the
is
ability to
not
go to
flammable.
any show she wants to. I'll stay here.
But it does shatter when you hit it with a heavy object. Avian, hello. Avian has made me the Supreme Commander, which sounds better, more important.
I would argue that Lord Commander is cooler though.
You think Lord Commander is more important than Supreme Commander?
The title's cooler.
Huh?
The title is cooler.
Lord Commander is cooler than Supreme Commander?
I think it's a cooler title.
Maybe.
If I think about where those titles come from, one is definitely cooler than the other.
Well, I don't know where they came from. As far as I know, they came from chat. So.
Well, chat got them from somewhere else.
Okay. Zazin, it is in Indianapolis. Gen Con is.
I feel like Lord Commander probably has more willing subjects.
Well, and I mean,
Supreme Commander sounds like you have a lot of people in
That don't
indentured
like you.
servitude,
Yeah.
and
but I feel like it should be like, because I'm not a lord. You know,
not with that attitude.
it feels false
Why aren't you a lord?
because I'm a lady. It's lords and ladies.
That's not how that works.
It's not.
No.
How is it not?
What is the gender, the feminine version of lord?
Lady.
It is not.
What is it then?
That's when you use lords and ladies
Right.
in a sense that isn't about the ruler of all things.
But like if you're thinking about like kings, queens, princes, princesses, lords, ladies.
But if you're the lord over your domain, that's not a gendered thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty
You
sure
can be the lord.
Okay. I mean, we don't have to talk down to me. I'm feeling like I just didn't understand this.
No. It,
Like I was looking
I
at
don't
it
think
as like king, queen, lord, lady, prince, princess stuff. That's how I interpreted it.
I think that is the most commonly used way that people will say it, like lords and ladies. I think the title of lord is not specific to a gender. I could be wrong.
Well, it may be, but we're not talking. If you're the Lord Commander, you don't have a king. You're it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know what that is. So,
Do you remember?
I mean, other than like the Night's Watch.
That's
what I know.
the joke. Yeah. That's where I got it from, and I think Lord Commander's a pretty cool title from that show. I think that's a pretty cool title to have.
Like I said, I think everybody loves the Lord Commander. I think if you're the Supreme Commander, you probably have forced people to say they like you. So I would always choose Lord Commander.
Duchess would be for Duke.
Yeah.
I'd vote for you for Lord, babe. So you get to vote for Lord.
Eisenhower definitely forced people to like him. What the heck?
Where did that come from?
That's what I said. I was like, what on earth?
I don't understand that.
I don't. Yeah, that one is lost on me.
Eisenhower was fairly well liked.
Ooh, Grand Poobah. I like that one better. Can that be my
Grand Poobah.
So
That's better.
no, wasn't that what Richie's dad was
Yeah.
going for? Grand Poobah,
Yep.
the lodge, the Elks Lodge, or whatever
Yep.
he was part of.
I need the fancy hat.
The Fez.
Yep.
We have a Fez.
Yeah, we do. Grand Poobah was on Flintstones too? Oh, I did not know that.
The Grand Poobah of what, the labor union, like for the rock diggers. Is that a thing, or did they have like a bowling?
In the quarry.
I do kind of remember Fred Flintstone in that same kind of big hat scenario.
Kingtone said, "Hey everyone, hope you are all doing well and doing your best to stay cool. Had a quick question. What is the difference between base coats and layering? The thinness of paint?"
Base coats are the colors that you put on to actually turn the model the primary shade in most cases that you're going to be using, right? So if the pants are going to be green, probably like a darker green until you start getting used to expanding your color horizons. Right now I'm doing base coat for my gold, which is orange. That's going to be the undertone of my gold. So these are all base coats that you see on this model right now. Layering is when I start to add in my midtones and highlights, where you stop going for like overall coverage and opacity, and you start blending and mixing to get those colors to work onto the model in a way that gives you good contrast, blends, creating volumes and things like that.
We do have a Grand Poobah hat. We do not need a Grand Poobah hat. No need to send any hats. The Water Buffalo Lodge was the Flintstones
Oh,
club.
that sounds right. Oh.
I appreciate that some of you are confirming my correctness. I am still undecided and unclear because now, it's the way it's been explained to me now, it's not something related to royalty. So I don't even know what it means. I liked the idea of it being royalty. Is that like their little chant game delay? Everybody's got a water buffalo. Mine is fast and yours is slow. Where they come from, I don't know. Did they like chant that at their meetings?
It's not always my fault, Mike. Contrary to your name,
I mean,
there are many things in life that are my fault. Not all of them.
that latest hurricane in the Gulf, definitely Jordan.
Be funny if the hurricane's name was Jordan.
Jordan.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Oh my God, let's not have that happen. Like the worst hurricane in recorded history is
It's all Jordan's fault.
Hurricane Jordan.
Is there one that's the worst recorded in history coming up the coast? Or were you just saying as a joke?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that if there is or is not another.
I don't know if there's any storms
Oh,
currently.
Okay.
Living in Arizona makes you not pay attention to that stuff.
That is very true. The only access that I get to that is if one of my friends in Texas is like, I need to be wary of all these hurricanes or something.
I like the rain that we typically get when they hit.
The hurricanes go back and forth, male and female.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's a male name with one, and they go alphabetically.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Gertrude and then Tim.
What was the last one? Do we know what the last one was?
There was Beryl.
Was it the last one?
I don't know. There's a lot of them that aren't big enough to be on the news.
Ooh.
Hurricane Andrew is the most destructive hurricane to ever hit Florida in terms of structures damaged or destroyed. It was in 1992.
1992. Hurricane Andrew, huh? So we could say it's all Andrew's fault.
Did that hit Florida? Where was it?
That was Florida.
Florida, right? Yeah.
Bahamas, Florida, and Louisiana.
Yeah, I kind of remember.
August of 1992. Apollonius has a question. My paints just arrived, and I'm curious if someone wanted to paint bone with your bone color, from what base color shall he build up?
We actually have a couple of really great shorts on YouTube that cover exactly how to do that. There's a couple, if you want to see a visual representation of it. For an answer to your question directly right now, there's a lot of different ways you can go about it. You can start from really dark greens. You could start from various different browns. You can start from let's see here. One of my favorites is dark golden brown. I really like to start with for bone. You could also do dark yellow green. If you have the base set, dark umber is a great option. Any sort of brown or brownish gray will work really good.
Dark umber to light umber to bone, great, safe.
Yep.
Workup still gives you a little bit of hue variation.
It was really weird, Jason. Your camera was just blurry until you turned the model around.
Was it very blurry?
It was blurry.
Hmm.
And then he flipped the model that way and it focused.
Yeah, Apollonius, they're on YouTube and Instagram. Lots of great painting content on there for you to check out. So how long did you paint on Saturday, Jason?
I think we were here for 3 hours.
Nice. Coming in like the morning or in...
No, afternoon. I think I started at 3, went till 6.
Oh, cool. Must have been a nice way to spend your Saturday afternoon. Get some painting done, hanging out with the nerds.
It came about from something that was not delightful.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Malfunctioning security system.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I did not plan
To be here.
the stream, but we made the best of it.
Grumbly Dumpus said, I know those models. Some hella talented sculptor must have made them.
Mm-hmm. I might know the one. Speaking of, I need to reach out to them and let them know that we're painting their models on stream. Because I think that they would really enjoy that. Alright, we're going to start with dark gray blue for the skin. Also, hello, Scrumbly Dumpus. How are you?
Vector said, thank you so much for the Saturday stream, Jason. It really made my day.
Awesome. Had a lot of fun. Glad everybody else did too.
See here. Alright, so we're just gonna layer this up over the skin. We're gonna go from there. That is an unusually fun username to say. Yes, it is.
Scrumbly Dumpless.
Just Scrumbly
Gamedley-
Dumpus.
Gamedley said, wait, did Scrumbly Dumpus make those? Because if yes, that needs to be your major advertising pitch. Models by
No.
Scrumbly Dumpus.
Nope. Mutual friend of ours. Scrumbly Dumpus is a friend of mine from back in Seattle. Went to go visit him this last year. Get some games in of Legions Imperialis. It was a good time. Also will be at Gen Con, I believe.
Dealer of Death, from Monument, it will be Jordan, Philip, Gabe, Shelby, and Jason. Is anybody else going?
No.
As far as people from chat, I will let them answer because I don't know.
There's a whole
Polonius-
Discord.
Yeah.
Huh?
There's a whole Discord channel if
Yeah,
you're
there's a.
interested in
there's
finding out
Discord.
who's going. A lot of people in Discord talking about meeting up.
Apollonia said we'll start painting my first Infinity models.
Awesome.
Start painting my first Infinity models. You guys got any tips? Can Oceania Army tiny models usually non-metallic approach? Which Which ain't good.
Which what?
Oh, probably gonna
I-
try non-metallic metal, but doesn't have a ton of experience.
Maybe.
Oh, don't feel like you have to. You can paint those models with metallic paints just like you can any models.
I think that's the key is not looking at the models that were painted by On Hell, which he did a great job. And say these have to be painted this way. There's a lot of different ways that you can approach it, non-metallic metal and otherwise. And true metallic metals look great on those models.
Vector said, I just hope Monument Hobbies will keep up this corporate culture, never sell the company. Remember, it's worth at least 2 times what they're offering.
What?
I don't know.
Where'd that come from?
Is there an offer to buy us that I don't know about?
Feels like something that both of you would be probably ready and aware of, I imagine.
Or competitors trying to buy us out of the market?
Bid is at 50 schmeckles.
Schmeckles?
Well, it's worth double at least.
Yeah. I hear it on good authority.
I'll buy you 2 soft tacos every day in exchange for Monument Hobbies.
He's already got 2 soft tacos every
Are they
day.
made out of platinum?
Are they made out of platinum?
I got about 350. That enough?
You want a community-owned hobby company? Can all pool your Starbucks money together?
Your Starbucks money. Don't worry, folks. Every month we can stop having 1 Starbucks a week, and eventually we'll get there. And I'm so excited to paint this model, Jason.
Well, I left it for you.
I know, I appreciate it.
Old Chad on Saturday. I was like, he doesn't deserve it, but I'm gonna let him paint it.
I would not have been upset if you had picked this model. I would have been happy to paint any of them. They are all very cool.
Now that he's done lying,
I would never. I would never lie to you, Jason.
happens all the time, Chad.
What do you mean?
Every day.
What, you mean every day that I come in and say good morning?
Exactly.
Yeah. Today was, in fact, not a good morning for me. I was pretty ill this morning at the wee hours of the morning. Did not feel great.
Stop eating whatever you ate.
I'm gonna throw it away as soon as I get home.
Like kimchi or something weird.
I had China chili last night, which is weird because normally I have no problems with China chili. I did order something different, so maybe it was just that one particular dish. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, it was a rough night.
Jay Tyler has a question. If you wanted a slightly colored armor and I used metallic paint, would you add the color to the silver and paint, or base with silver and then glaze a color over it?
So, first off, I would, either way you slice it, I would use our transparents. You will get the best results for glazing over with the transparents. You can use opaque paints for mixing as well. And it will work really, really well. But there's realistically, there's 2 approaches that you can take for doing that. You can either mix your metallic color with another opaque color, or you can lay down your color and then apply a transparent color over it, which is what I would typically recommend.
You're better served to mix the transparents with your metallics. If you ever mix opaques with metallics, then you're going to lose the metallic sheen.
Yes.
So the transparents are best all the way around. And you can do either of what you're asking. Just depends on how you prefer to paint. If you would feel more confident seeing the metallic color in its final form, then mixing the paint into the metallic is a great way to do it. If you would like to play around with glazing and, build your color up on the model where you can see how it looks that way, then glazing a transparent back over your metallic works great. Either one. We do them both. They can turn out some really cool results either way.
Valthorn Alien wants to know how thin your paint is, Jordan.
It's thinner. It's thicker than you might expect. I would say it's probably 3-to-1 or 2-to-1 water to paint ratio. I'm using this brighter undercoat with a slightly more opaque mixture of paint and water to take advantage of that brighter color that we have underneath it. This is kind of a level where I'm doing some sketching to get the right colors in place and figure out what all the highlight colors are going to look like and the shadow colors. A little bit of like a guide. And then once things get rooted and I have a better understanding of the color palette, that's when I'll start to add more opaque colors into the mixtures.
Papa Chicken said, couldn't you use glaze and wash medium and water to make any of the colors into a faux transparent and mix that in with metallics?
No. You can use glaze and wash medium to make things less opaque. Our transparent paints are unique because they use a completely translucent pigment. So what's going to happen if you use an opaque paint, and this is, I think, why Jason made the statement that he did, is that when you layer, the more that you thin down for transparency, the more you add some other material to your paint. So let's say you're adding a metallic and you're adding a paint together. Those opaque pigment particles are going to mix together and overlay with the metallic particles and dull them down. When you have a transparent paint, all of these pigments are translucent. So when you layer them together with another color, say like the metallics we were talking about, those pigments are still translucent. So they'll filter over the pigment that's underneath it, but you'll still be able to see the pigment underneath it. So you're going to get a better result for filtering and mixing with things like with metallics with with transparent pigments than you will with opaques.
Valthorn Alien, I think he's just using the water.
I'm just using water right now.
But Valthorn said, better question, what are you doing to get it as transparent as you are using?
I'm just thinning it with water.
Are these by chance some of the Asura models you were talking about?
They
Yes.
are. Jason is
They both
painting
are.
the margin. I am painting a Danav. Then we have Devondra over there, waiting to get painted at some point here in the near future as well.
Slavic said, are there any concerns with airbrushing with Prochromatics?
They airbrush great. I use them to airbrush. Where is that guy? I think I put him back onto the thing. Like this guy. All that blue has transparent green and transparent blue glazed over it. And I airbrushed all the silver underneath it. Used just used regular silver, and then I used our metallic medium on top.
Vector said,
Airbrush
so
is great.
basically metallic medium doesn't go well with opaque medium, so use transparents.
Okay, let me just kind of give you the fundamentals here. You can mix it with whatever you like. Understand that opaque paints, as you thin them for opacity, will desaturate and give you less color intensity, right? Just period. So imagine then making your metallic. Your metallic is going to lose a lot of the punch of the color you mix into it if you use opaque colors, while at the same time losing the ability to have that metallic sheen because the paint itself is covering up the metallic flake, like Jordan was saying. Okay? So, twofold reasons why not to use opaque paint in that situation. Can you? Yes. You will not have as metallic of a paint as you want, and that paint will not be as bright and vivid of a color as you probably want. The transparents, when you use them, will give you plenty of vibrancy of color, while also allowing the shine of the metal flake, whether it's aluminum or mica, is irrelevant, to show through them better. They will still darken it up, but they will show through a lot better than the opaque paint. So, doesn't have to do with what the medium likes or dislikes. It just has to do with the final version of what you're trying to do and how it looks. You're going to want, if you're using metallic paint, you want it to have that natural shine to it that the metal flake is supposed to have. The more paint you mix into it that isn't metallic, right, the worse that metallic sheen is going to be. Because all of this is what we call additive mixing. Right, or actually subtractive mixing. And what happens is that as you put one paint into another, the only reason you see different colors is because the physical pigment lays over one another, and your eye can't discern where one stops and one starts. So as soon as I lay white over my metallic, I'm going to lose some of the metallic. Subtracting one color in order to see another.
Papa Chicken said, so what about the less opaque colors like dark magenta? Would that work, or is that still the same issue as the regularly?
No, any single pigment, because really the transparents, other than the medium that they're in, they are just single pigment paints. So any of our single pigment paints will provide a very similar situation. Dark magenta, bismuth yellow, to some extent even bright yellow green, even though it's not single pigment. Right? The more transparent or translucent a paint is, the better it will respond. But it goes back to what I was saying, that you're still going to lose vibrancy regardless. So the transparents give you so much intensity of pigment that we would prefer you start there. Right? Now, dark magenta just so happens to be a paint that could have been called a transparent, other than the fact that it doesn't have the same low viscosity medium in it. But as a pigment, it would work great.
Slavic said, is there anything special for cleaning the airbrush after metallics or thinning them for spray?
Just clean it quick. You definitely don't want the residue of metallic paint hanging out in your airbrush for long. But nothing special that you have to do. Clean it like you normally would. It may take you a couple extra rinses through the airbrush to get it clean. Again, you're dealing with solid particulates in metallic paint that are unlike what is in your normal paint. So you may have to spend a little bit of extra time getting it out of there. Just flush it really good before you start spraying air through it again.
Mini Ruckus, these are miniatures that are, how would you explain it? Like companions to the game?
Yeah, they're like, just collectible paintable miniatures that are characters from our game Age of Angra. I'm painting up Kamar Jen. He's doing Danav over there. And we've also got a model for Devandra. We got a series of 3 that are coming out at first. Just fun to paint. 75, 80 mil style miniatures. They're fairly hefty. And neat, fun ways to bring the game to life in miniature, which is what we love. So
Vector said, do you prefer water or airbrush cleaner for cleaning?
We typically only use water until it's time to do a deep cleaning, and then we'll use like Simple Green or something like that. Fabuloso.
Lovick said, thanks. Been a while since I caught the stream. Always nice being able to jump in and ask random questions.
Heck yeah.
That's what we do.
That's what we're here for.
This is interesting. It's been a while since I painted something this blue before.
Yep, Vector, they are 3D printed resin models. They are done by an outside firm that we have partnered with. We are not printing these internally, currently at least. All of our printers are taken up doing texture trainers. That's why we're unable to really tell you the final cost on them yet. We're still working through all that with them, and I've got them. I just sent the approval email before stream. Well, not approval, but giving the feedback of what I saw putting the models together on Friday and Saturday, so that we can start taking a look at final production. They're very easy to clean up, very easy to put together, so I think we're very close.
Vector said, but you will QC them?
What's that?
But you will QC them?
I mean, I won't, but Monument Hobbies will.
Jason QCing every model? No way.
We will do final packaging here. And we'll keep QC to the best of our ability. I mean, part of working with a outside company like that is to have them do all of that at their end. But yeah, we will definitely qualify that, you know, all the right parts and pieces are involved, because each one of these has a base. Well, Jen that I'm painting doesn't. She is the base, but she has got 2 arms.
There aren't a ton of parts for these models either, which is
4,
really
yeah,
nice.
4 max, I think.
Very impressive how few models, or how few parts we were able to get into them.
We are hoping that makes it easy and more accessible for people who might not be, you know, interested in building a ton of models. These are easy to get going, for sure.
Apollonia said, you know what 3D printer they use or you use? Want to buy one.
So we have a conglomerate. We've got 3 EPAX machines. We've got 4 frozen machines. The big, I think it's like a 14-inch 8K plate. On those, that's what we print the texture trainers with. We do our prototyping on the smaller machines from EPAX. But there's a ton of them out there. They're all basically knockoffs of one another right now, because they're all coming out of China, out of the same like 2 factories, regardless of what you hear.
There's a great channel on our Discord dedicated to 3D printing stuff. If you're not there already, I bet it would be a great resource for you to find out more if you're looking at buying a printer.
We love EPAX for their sturdiness. Frozen and Saturn, or whatever it is, Elegoo, are decent for price and size. And then there's 50 million of them out there that I've never used. There's a lot of people that will tell you their opinions on them on YouTube, though.
Yeah. So many.
And that technology upgrades every 6 months, it seems.
Very true.
So the one thing I will tell you is that unless you have a commercial need for it, meaning you're making models to sell, I would definitely not recommend going whole hog and throwing a ton of money at it all at once. I would buy a nice, respectable small machine, or big, whatever you're trying to print out, and then be prepared to mothball that one and buy something new inside a year if you really dig it.
Tech Elf said, Jason, do you remember Dragon magazine? I just bought 30
Sure.
for $1 a piece. Love the artwork.
Yeah, sure. Dragon Magazine had some fun stuff in it. I think Dragon even occasionally had stuff. Didn't they get stuff from like Frazetta in there occasionally? Maybe not.
What's Dragon Magazine?
An old, like around fantasy gaming and D&D.
Cool.
I don't know if it was Dragon TSR. Did they have anything to do with it? I don't remember.
Ozilek 84, good afternoon. It's very dark.
There it goes. 3 o'clock on the nose.
Tell you what.
Weird.
Something in our neighborhood happens at around 3 o'clock, and our sign doesn't react to it very well.
No.
Makes the right side of Jen's face brighten up.
Yeah. Right. Game Dilly said Jordan magazines are a print medium where there are pictures on pages.
Yeah.
It's like a blog with no hyperlinks.
Yep.
Of course.
He needed that, Chet.
Thanks, guys. I've never seen a magazine in my life.
Are dealing with these life noobs.
I'm not that much of a life noob. Okay, turning 31 this year. Like a pretty reasonable amount of time.
Okay there, whippersnapper.
All right. All right. This guy. Whippersnapper. Jeez. I'm no whippersnapper.
Yeah, you kind of are, though.
It's
I mean,
all
if Jen and
about-
I were already in our 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I really can't.
Wait till you hear about newspapers. It's even crazier.
Oh, yeah.
They used to deliver it to your front door.
Look,
I used to do that. My first paying job. Well, babysitting, I think, technically was my first paying job. And then I got my paper route. That sucked.
I've never heard anybody say that they were great, to be fair.
Jordan, noob is internet slang from about a decade ago that refers to someone who's very inexperienced.
Oh my
Here we go, chat.
gosh.
Valthorn said, any recommendations on a cool purple or violet? Most pro purples seem to lead more into the red.
I mean,
dark
Royal Purple is awesome. Pretty neutral in those regards. Which is right here. We're not there. Where'd you go?
In the old days, if you were lucky, you'd find one in the woods and it'd have dirty pictures in it.
Penthouse, Playboy. Find them in the garbage.
Where is my rope? What the heck?
Ever break any Windows fuse?
Did I ever break any windows?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Paint Liquor wants to know.
Never admit to anything on stream, Jason.
I don't know what he's referring to. Break windows. Yes.
Just like,
What?
in general, is that just a random question or is it related to something from, as a newspaper boy? No.
Oh,
makes
no.
sense.
No. I was pretty good about all that.
Ghost Hunter, that's too big for a Smurf. Too tall.
I had to carry that damn bag, that satchel thing that went over your head, though. You'd sit there. They would dump my papers at a church near the neighborhood that I had. I couldn't get my neighborhood, so it was a pretty far neighborhood away. And I rode my bike over to this church. The church had a pull-through awning where people could get out and go into the church. And they would put my papers down in the little stairwell there. And so I'd ride my bike, get up, go down the stairwell, pull my papers, right? Had my huge bag of rubber bands in my satchel. And I would set the satchel on the ground, fold up the papers, put them in the front and the back of the satchel. It had pockets along the front and on the back. And then you'd get underneath it and lift it up and pedal your bike. And you'd leave all your rubber bands and papers there because you couldn't do the whole neighborhood at once. It's a big neighborhood. So I do that, and then I go as far as I could and work my way back. Throw as much as I could, then go back to the church, load them up, go back to where I stopped, and throw back. And then I went the other direction because the church was right smack in the middle of this big, long neighborhood that I had to do. And I just remember the horror of it in the winter. Like, it you don't think about it as a kid. You're like, oh, yeah, I can throw papers. It'll be easy. And then the first day the weather's horrible. You're like,
you hate your life.
Yeah, I should have never signed up for this because they don't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
You throw the paper out every day anyway. And since I was doing it on my bicycle, it really sucked. Like, really sucked. Doing that, like, before school sucked. The days were very long.
Jordan and I both said dark purple.
And then the Sunday edition was just hell. Every now and then I'd get lucky enough if the delivery of the main bulk papers was running late that the route master would take us in his pickup truck. Me and the other kid that I knew who had a route close to mine. If they were delivering them late, then he would let us ride in the back, and we'd fold all the papers at the church and throw them in the back of his truck, and then we'd do all the routes at once with all three of us doing it. And every now and then he'd have to take us around to collect payment too, because there was some real
that's what I was gonna
some real horrible people that I had to go knock on doors to get paid.
Jay Tyler said, did you have to collect money from the people you delivered to? And yeah, back in the day it was the kid's responsibility to do the collection.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, I was like,
I want my $2.
12 years old, man, knocking on people's doors, getting people opening the door in their tidy whities, high off their rocker. You know, yeah, man, how can I help you, buddy? And be like,
give me some money.
You owe me $3.50 for the paper. And like, oh man, can you come back next week? Okay, you know, it was horrible, dude. You think about it nowadays, you'd be like, no way, that's like child abuse doing that to kids. Is the way people react now. And I was just like, oh my god.
Well, it's just the risk.
I remember being in this apartment complex. It was super dingy apartment complex on my route. And I had to get off my bike, walk through the apartment complex because you couldn't throw them. So I had to walk through them and put them on people's doors. And going to collect money one day, and there was gunshot rang out in one of the apartments. Not that I was in front of, but in the apartment complex. Somebody fired off a gun in the apartment complex. And I just remember these people running out of the apartment complex that were in around the pool, and me just kind of being at the end of my rope and just being like, yeah, whatever. And just like going around and ringing doorbells and asking people for money again. Oh my God.
It was a Better Off Dead reference, absolutely. Wandering Gobojin Said, hey, Jordan, it's Marion. Super excited to see them printed
Hi.
up and getting painted. How are you liking them so far?
Well, look at that.
Excellent.
Were your ears burning? We were just talking about you,
I
Marion.
bet Jake was like, hey, check out the stream.
Marion is the fabulous sculptor behind these.
Mm-hmm. We are incredibly excited.
Used carried a bat. Kneecaps weren't safe.
Are we gonna see you at Gen Con this year? I seem to recall hearing that you might be going with a Jake, perhaps.
Jordan knows what's up. Jake poked me.
Yep. Oh, I know. I know that man very well.
Said I will absolutely be there.
Excellent. We look forward to seeing you again.
Hey, Marion, you need to send me an email with how you want us to give you credit on the sculpts and such. Just email me what naming and all that you want to use. Awesome. Thank you, thank you. I never think to ask that until it's time to like put people's names on packaging. Like,
Had friend of Scrumbly Dumpus on the end.
sculpted by friend of Scrumbly Dumpus.
I'm not used to getting credit, so that's exciting.
We give all the artists that work with us credit.
Yep.
At least we try to. If it's used in a way that we can give credit, we do. I guess that's the better way to say that.
Yeah.
Not all art is used in a way where it's like, oh, and by the way, brought to you by the wonderful people at Marion's house. Yeah, it's funny how, production art, when you work for a larger company, like, that your name doesn't get attached to the things you do. And some companies are like, we pay you. You have no right to having your name on stuff. That was the big thing in comics for a long time.
That's so weird. So weird thinking about that, because I just think about like how tied people's names are to their work now as comic book artists.
Well, their names were already always on there, but they had no, they might get a footnote,
Yeah.
It wasn't like they were lauded for the creation of it. I mean, I guess Ditko and some of those guys, Jack Kirby. But no, it was Stan Lee making comics.
Baby J's model from behind looks like the Flintstones Grand Poobah hat. Funny coincidence.
Talk to the sculptor. Not my fault. Actually, potentially partially mine.
We like artists to be invested in the projects they do with us, even when they're small, because it means that, well, I hope that it means, with the right artist, it means that they will pay better attention to it. They'll put a little bit more love. They'll make it something that they enjoy, not just something they get paid for. We're not at a point at Monument Hobbies where we have to just do production art that, cuts you a check. We still like to find people that are like, hey, do you like this? Do you think this would be cool? Do you think you could put a piece of you into it so that it feels good for you? And that comes from me being an artist. I don't like to, here, draw the fire hydrant, Jason. And you don't get any say. You just draw the fire hydrant. Yay.
Yay.
So I never went into comics. the little bit of work that I did was enough for me to know at my young age that I was like, nope, that ain't gonna fly.
Turns out when it stops being fun, that's a problem.
It never started.
Never started being fun?
Yeah. I got sent pages where it was already like rough pencils, and all they were asking artists like me to do was literally put the fire hydrant and the newspaper stand and the dog. You know, you didn't get to draw the superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Jade. Jade said those look amazing.
Well, thank you, Jade.
Bond said was watching the weekend stream from the TV. That white and blue wash on the smoke turned out real neato.
Yeah, it's just something that's fun as a way to build up color on it. I did the dry brushed it with the royal purple and then did a wash with blue and white transparent mixed together to get a color started up on it. And then I'll have a lot of work I have to do to go back in on top of this, but it gets it started. It gives me a path to look at and gets a lot of the messy stuff out of the way so I can paint the rest of the model. And it was a good example of just throwing stuff against the wall because I was like, I don't know, this sounds like a good idea. In our world of painting, every one of you out there knows that you get models that you're like, I've never painted anything like this before. You don't do a lot of Jen Smoke Trail style models. You just got to be like, okay, well, what if we try this? Maybe that'll work.
Mary says, honestly, I'm happy to not have my name attached to Funko products.
Huh.
Jeez.
It's still fun. But I get what you're saying.
Was the spelling intentional?
Probably. Whew. I'm gonna take my allergy medicine. Been blessed without having to deal with all the storms blowing up stuff into the air. Starting to pay for it.
Yeah.
You gotta turn that compressor off so we stop annoying the boys over there.
You're too nice.
You know, I spend a lot of time being really mean to these guys. Sometimes. Shh. We're on stream, Christopher.
Dave, is that a pickle?
A pickle? What are you talking about, Jen?
Pickle?
Pickle? Pickle, pickle, pickle.
I'm not knowing what we're talking about. Oh, yes.
Gabe, why do you have a pickle?
I think it's Gumby.
Oh,
It's his version of Gumby.
That does not look like Gumby.
Dang.
I mean, Gumby was just a big green eraser.
Yeah, but Gumby had like Gumby legs.
Also true.
That has like.
His name is Hipster Gumby, so
Yep.
it has sunglasses and somebody had to
Where's the bandana?
Somebody had to make it fit in the.
Yeah, your Discord avatar. What is it?
Art of Mike Disney. Hello. How you doing?
What's going on, Mike?
Slavic said, are you planning on more texture trainers? Yeah.
Yep.
Heck yeah, we are.
I don't know that there will ever be hundreds of them, but we have at least another 3 that I have already planned.
I hope there are hundreds of them. I'm
That
excited.
does not look
I
like
hope
Gumby
not.
Game.
I hope not.
I mean, I guess as a good businessman, I would say that if the commercial viability means that we need hundreds of them, we'll figure something out. But I ain't trying to have hundreds of anything other than paint.
Gumby, but in a rubber hose style. So not Gumby.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, just getting started on them. Yeah, if you weren't here, the
figure out
latest
his
of the
leg.
texture trainers, of course, is the one for Nova. I started throwing color at it late last week just to get a starting point. I'll have that done for the cover art for it, the box art for Nova, and some of those will be being painted along with probably some Angra models, depending on how far we get with these.
Rubber hose is like an old school Mickey Mouse or Cuphead.
Cuphead's a video game that kind of themed itself in that old Mickey Mouse cartoon style. Distribute the Asura models in randomized booster packs. You get the parts of different models in each pack. No, it's like you have to just keep buying packs until you get a whole model.
That sounds horrible.
We are not Wizards of the Coast. Oh, sorry, was that my outside voice?
Slavic, it will be available at Nova if you're going there, or on our website, like during that same weekend.
Yeah, that left knee for Danav is a super rare drop. I've nearly got the whole model.
Just missing the left knee.
You should do that with paints. You order like a base set and you just random paints that are actually filled, and then you just get the empty bottles with the labels on them for the rest.
Oh my gosh.
Dang it, I bought another base set, but I got the exact same colors I got in the last one.
Ugh. Can you imagine selling the bottles in sets without labels on them? Just putting the labels in the box and saying, have fun.
Slovak, the Salamander will be available. We haven't. I've been talking with them. We may launch it on the website during Nova, right? So right at the end of August. Either way, it'll either be that weekend or the week right after Nova finishes up. They may want to have it just being an exclusive at the show for the time of the show, which is fine. And then we'll be selling it continually throughout the year until the following year's comes out.
I thought
Yeah.
you had said that it would be on our website at the same time you guys were there, so that was my confusion.
Well, that's our hope, but I get to get approval from them with the whole scenario before I commit to it. Make sure it flies.
If they want to buy it, Slavic. But yes, they have the ability to order them to sell in their stores for sure.
Sometimes you get paint, no bottle, just paint in a Ziploc. Can you imagine? You sell paint refills for your bottles. That's
In
our
a
new.
Ziploc?
That's our new thing. We'll get a machine that fills up like those ketchup packs, and you can just get a refill for your paint color.
I am no longer handling customer support.
This is our new eco-friendly paint refill system.
Meanwhile, Jen's out.
Yeah, that is going to have our entire customer service and fulfillment staff quit.
Yeah.
They're like, nope, not doing it.
Because we get people who don't like it if there's a tiny bit of paint on the cap when they get the bottle. Even if there's no paint that leaked out, but there's a little bit on the cap. Send me a new bottle. Is the plan for texture trainers to be a new sculpt each year? Sean O'John, for the Nova texture trainer, that's my understanding.
Yeah, the Nova
But our
one will be a
regulars
new character,
are
I
just
think,
regular.
even. They're planning on, going through a bunch of different creatures that are, fire-based. So we don't have a plan, like, as far as, like, character design on any of the future ones, but that's been the discussion so far. And they're committed to working with us beyond 2024 on doing that, which I'm excited about.
Oh, you're welcome. I did not know that your real name and your Twitch name are different, so I didn't know it was you. But happy to help. Sorry if we messed up initially. The model Jason is painting is a model that is a companion for our new game. That's also what Jordan is painting. Different model, but also for our game.
We have our game Age of Anger out now. These are the actual character cards in the game that give some backstory, lore on the different species of Asura, as well as their power. They've got a character type, shield amount, life amount, speed for their abilities, a piercing, and then a little bit of a passive. And these are just models that would go along with them. It's not a miniatures game, but it can have the miniatures for your favorite Asura get you painting.
Game Delay said, what about a Kevin Bacon signature set? Which is that he's actually just in all the other signature sets and you wonder who his agent is. Huh? I don't get it. But I like this idea of like a 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon signature set. Where somehow every paint in it connects back to Kevin Bacon. Somehow.
That'd be awesome. We just call him up. I'm sure he's not afraid of money.
Models do not come with the game. They're separate.
Yeah, they're not required.
And they're
for the
not
game
available
either.
yet. The game is available now on our website and does not require models. You can get the game now and the models for extra fun later.
Yeah, it's like the Age of Anger Collector's Series or something. It's not, but kind of the way to think about it.
Instead of Kevin Bacon miniatures, when?
That'd be so great.
Like a greatest hits, some of his best characters.
I was so stoked when I saw that video.
If you are not,
Kevin Bacon one?
if you're not sure what we're talking about with Kevin Bacon,
Just go watch the video. It's so good.
check out our Discord for sure. But a little quick backstory is that on Friday's stream, we were talking about movies or something, and somehow it came around to Kevin Bacon because I think we were talking about Footloose. And Jason said something about how great Kevin Bacon is, and I don't really remember.
Well, it's
the
because I
entire
got Footloose and
context of
Dirty
it.
Dancing mixed up.
Oh yeah, he got Footloose and
And
Dirty
so
Dancing
chat
mixed
got
up.
on to me, and I was like, well, I can't help it. I just think about Kevin Bacon every day.
Yeah. And then Bud, who watches the stream from time to time, he was here a little earlier. I don't know if he still is. Awesome community member, our friend Bud. And he is like a sound.
He's a sound mixer.
Sound
He was
engineer?
doing monitor mixing for Kevin Bacon and the Bacon Brothers band.
Yeah. So he said, so he works at a music venue in Virginia, I think. And he happened to be listening to us in chat, and he said, well, hey, the Bacon Brothers are playing at my theater this weekend. And just kind of jokingly, I said, well, okay, so you need to pass the word along to Kevin that Jason is a big fan. Tell him how much that Jason loves him, and then film his reaction. And Bud did exactly that and sent it to us. So there's a little video posted on our Discord. Kevin Bacon saying hello to Jason.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon took his phone and did his little recording into the phone.
So good.
He goes, Jason, I hear you think about me every day.
There's Bud. Bud's always watching.
That was so good. That was so good. I got to tell you, you are my hero, bud. That was good.
I've watched that video so many times. I just love it.
I don't even care about Kevin Bacon, but the fact that I told you to go and do this fun thing and you were able to pull it off, and now I have an eternal video of Kevin Bacon telling me to,
keep up the good work.
Keep up the good work, which I think he means keep thinking of him every day.
Yeah.
We're BFFs, basically.
You know, a maker on my mini maker that has Kevin's character from Tremors.
I'm sure there's somebody that's
We're
done
gonna have
that.
to have that. Bud is a god.
Certain people in this world that you meet are just make it happen people. And
Yep.
Bud, you're one of those people.
Bud's one of those people.
I love that he was fearless about it. I was like, all right, here's what I want you to say. I want you to walk up and say, Kevin, I know there's a guy on the internet who paints little men who thinks about you every day.
Oh, that's right. We said specifically you have to tell him that we paint little men. Did you tell him that? I want to know what his reaction was to that.
Yeah, I was hoping for him to say, so about these little men.
About these little men.
It's probably too much detail for him. Bud didn't want to overwhelm him.
To paint some minis. Exactly.
It's a very warm gold you got working up over there.
Yeah.
Seems to be very bright.
Yeah, that's what it is on the card.
Oh, really? Super bright gold.
3:30.
3:30. My gosh. Why does the time disappear so fast? Somebody have like a weird machine that's making time go faster?
No.
No? Are you sure?
Yeah.
We were talking about being in a Matrix.
We are in a simulation, but that doesn't mean that time isn't going at the normal speed.
Kevin Bacon having a musical number in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special makes more sense now. He's had a band with his brother for decades.
Yeah.
I had no idea that he had a band with his brother. That's like wild. Just like guy who does movies in Hollywood and also just
that his
we know
brother
Johnny
looks
Depp
almost exactly like him too.
Johnny Depp plays in a big rock band.
Yeah, Johnny Depp is
still.
I think he would prefer to do that than ever act.
I mean, given his history and the bumps in his career, I imagine that's probably likely true at this point.
His brother looks a little bit like him.
Kevin Bacon's.
Not as much as I thought. I thought that they were very similar. This is the worst iteration of the Matrix, seriously.
Gosh, I watched the new one.
Yeah, Jared Leto is in a very well-known rock band.
Yes.
30 Seconds to Mars.
Keanu Reeves, Jeremy Renner, yep. Lots of actors.
In the rock bands of the world.
30 Seconds to Mars is Jared Leto's band, Vector.
Yep.
Dogstar is Keanu Reeves' band. Henry Rollins. I think Henry Rollins was a musician before he was an actor.
He's not an actor.
Also, wasn't Jared Leto also an actor before he was a musician?
That's the point of this.
Or I'm sorry, a musician before he was an actor?
No.
Really?
He was on My So-Called Life when he was like 20.
Really?
Yes, in the 90s.
I had no idea. I had only gotten introduced to him first from 30 Seconds to Mars.
I'm pretty sure
Jordan
he and his
Catalano
brother had
was
always
his
had a
character name
band,
on My
but
So-Called
he did
Life.
not get known until he had money from acting, I think, to do their
music videos and stuff.
Somebody might tell us we're wrong, that they were playing like clubs and might have been known in like local gig areas, but
Wild. That's
yeah, because it's
crazy.
another band with a brother.
Oh my God, Jared Leto is older than me. I did not know that. That's crazy.
Isn't it though?
Yes.
Is he really?
He's my age, isn't he?
He's December 26, 1971.
Oh, he's a year older than me. You're younger than me.
71.
You're younger than me. Yeah, guys. Somebody was making fun because he really does all the business to stay young looking, and he
He's-
does a fantastic job.
he
of it.
does a
You never
great
know.
job.
You would
You'd
never
think that
know.
guy's like in his 30s.
Yeah.
I'm just like thinking about him in Morbius,
Well, and he
which
played
was like
a
relatively
teenager.
recent.
So he was on this show called My So-Called Life in 1994, and he played a teenager. It was a show about high school kids. So he definitely does look younger because I was well out of high school then.
Crazy.
I don't know. Would it be fair? I think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody who's been more successful in music than Jared Leto.
That is an actor.
Yeah, as an actor who also does music. I can't think of anybody right offhand.
Jack Black, probably, maybe.
Nah,
Not
You don't
not
think
even
so?
anywhere close.
They're done now.
Yeah.
Peter Dinklage was in a ska band before acting.
How funny.
Wait, really?
Fascinating.
That's great.
That's awesome. I'm trying to think of all the other.
Corey Feldman. Yep.
Are there any other big actors or movie stars? Or oh my gosh, what's wrong with me today? Musician turned movie stars.
Or vice versa. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't think there's anybody that's been that.
Yeah, 30 Seconds to Mars is a pretty big.
I mean, they still sell out
I guess they do. Don't
and
they?
go on tour and sell
Oh,
out
yeah,
the
like
teenagers
big.
for a bunch of
yeah.
50-year-olds running around on stage.
Marky
They got
Mark.
something going
Oh,
on. They
that's a
have
good
that
one. Marky
musical
Mark.
formula.
Marky Mark was a musician first, though.
And he is
And
nowhere near the
One-hit wonder.
yeah, he's nowhere near the accolades that 30 Seconds to Mars has.
Yeah, that's like a real band. Like I said,
Johnny
I
Depp
I mean,
found
Marky Mark and
band
the Funky
is
Bunch
not-
were a real band.
Marky
fair.
Mark and the Funky Bunch were definitely a real band, but they were.
But he
one-hit
denies it
wonder.
ever happens now.
Yes, and that is
So
That's actually hilarious.
sad. I don't know how you can deny the Funky Bunch. Johnny Depp's band is not. We're trying to determine if there's any other actor that's in a band that's as big as 30 Seconds to Mars.
That's
Johnny Depp's
successful.
band is definitely not as successful as 30 Seconds to Mars. And David Hasselhoff is
I had
an
no idea that they were
international music superstar.
touring.
Jeff Bridges, Kevin Costner, Jeff Daniels.
yeah, again, not
Again,
like
none
bar
of them-
bands.
None of them quite as big as 30 Seconds to Mars.
Okay, hold on. At what point can we allow Lady Gaga into the mix for this?
Well, that's a
Well,
good
she
point.
was a musician first.
Good point.
Does it matter?
Well, but she was known as a musician
I
first
guess that's
before
true.
she ever became.
That's true. That's true.
Jared Leto was known as an actor first before he became.
She's one of the few though that I would be like, like kind of like Barbara Streisand, which is funny because they did the same role, right?
Mhm.
Did they?
That she actually put on an amazing role, like performance in that role. And I wouldn't have thought like, oh yeah, she's just a musician who's getting her stage time because she's so popular.
No, she's actually a good actress.
All these people like Ice-T, Justin Timberlake, they were musicians first. Steve Martin.
Eh. With his ukulele.
Banjo.
Oh, it was banjo. That's right.
Cher's won an Academy Award. I would say she's a great actress, but I think she was musician first.
Did she win the Academy Award for Mask?
Mask maybe, and Moonstruck?
Was it Moonstruck?
Google will tell me.
Was Moonstruck the one with
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. Best actress for Moonstruck in 1988 and supporting actress for Silkwood in 1984.
Silkwood? That's right.
She
with
was
Meryl
nominated, I think, for others, but those are. Oh, Jennifer Lopez. She's pretty successful. Yeah. I would say that she is probably more successful than 30 Seconds to Mars.
There you go. We found one.
Yep, found one.
I don't know. That would be a tough one.
Zooey Deschanel. Yeah.
She was a dance choreographer first, right?
She was a fly
like
girl
Paula Abdul.
In Living Color. Game Delay said Milli Vanilli were actors before they were musicians.
Also
I don't
true.
think they were ever musicians.
Also not big hits.
Not musicians.
Not as big as 30 Seconds to Mars.
They were acting like they were musicians.
Yeah, that's a totally different episode of this program.
We did say Johnny Depp, yes.
Milli Vanilli.
Jennifer Lopez was a dancer first. I don't think that she was... she definitely didn't have any hit songs before she became an actor.
That was one of those simultaneous careers. She was playing it at both ends, which is awesome.
Papa Chicken said, do you have a list of single pigment paints listed somewhere? Really trying to lean into an underpaint, then filter for the next few projects and want to see what my options for filters are. So all the transparents.
Any of our paints.
No, they're not all single pigment.
No, I'm saying any of our paints. Don't limit yourself to this weird wives' tale. Let me say it the way I do that pisses all the other paint companies off. All the other paint companies are a house paint that they fit in a small bottle. And when you start with a paint that has a tint base for opacity and such, then you're limited because as you start thinning it out, it desaturates and starts to give weird blended colors and doesn't do what you need it to do. Think in terms of they have a machine that comes down that you insert a hex code into and it goes pss, 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 like Home Depot does and puts a certain amount of pigments, right, into this paint to give you that color. But it doesn't necessarily mean that green started with the right green base. It could have started with blue and yellow because that's what the machine was programmed for. So if you have a green that you're trying to mix with something or to glaze with it, and as you thin it down, it's really just made out of blue and yellow, then those blues and yellows start to, as you thin it, start to separate and act like blue and yellow mixed together as opposed to a green paint. Pro Acryl, you don't have to worry about that. Every paint is going to do what you expect it to do as the color that it is because we start every color with the base that its color family is. So if you pick up a brown, it starts with an umber base, right? Usually like a raw umber base. Or at the worst case, if it's a super orange, it'll have a lot of like orange in it, right? Or red oxide. It has something that is visually what you expect that color to be so that all of our colors mix exactly what you expect them to do. So you don't have to worry about it. Pick the color and filter as you will. I underpaint and filter on everything, and I never worry about how many pigments are in the paint. It's the difference between fine art paint and paint. Coatings paint, right? And that's just the reality of the situation. When dealing with our colors, you don't have to worry about them graying out, desaturating. You know, if it desaturates, it's because you're mixing it with something like white or a neutral gray that's meant to tint and desaturate or tone and desaturate. So the buck stops with Pro Acryl. You can just pick the color you like. That's why we did it this way. We got very lucky. We were able to work with a facility that makes fine art products to teach us what we needed to do instead of a coatings company that makes house paint.
Brian Betronis said, can my Monument Hobbies primer get old and stop adhering as well?
Not due to age. Usually something in your process of application is what'll do it. As long as if it's been sitting around, you haven't used it in a long time, and you really have to shake it back up, right? The acrylic polyurethane that forms the major part of the adhesion of it will settle, and so you're going to wind up needing to really give it a good agitation. But assuming you've got it mixed up, then no.
Or was this a question asking for permission? They didn't laugh.
Huh? I missed that one.
He said, "Can my Monument Hobbies primer get old and stop adhering as well?" And I said it could be asking for permission. Never mind. It would be a different tone. Can my Monument Hobbies primer please get old and stop adhering as well?
Oh, got it. Got it.
No, you don't have to say that. It wasn't funny.
Yeah, that wispy smoke looks really neat.
Ella Fitzgerald came to watch my dad play this after you learned this after his passing, which is so cool because your son loves her, like her biggest fan of all time. Full circle, I guess. Rest in peace. That's awesome.
That is neat.
My stepdad played harmonica and was actually pretty good. I don't think he ever had aspirations to do anything with it, but in like the world of like outlaw country southern rock, a lot of that came from our backyard, and I had no idea that Billy Joe Schaefer, who there's a movie that we've seen that was it has oh gosh, the dude.
What's his name?
Bud was just talking about.
Yeah.
We know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right, from the Big
Jeff
Lebowski,
Bridges.
right?
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges was.
I got the Jeff. I couldn't think of the last name.
He was in a movie about being a washed-up country star, and I believe the movie was about Billy Joe Schaefer. Wasn't his name in the movie, but I'm pretty sure it was about the life of Billy Joe Schaefer. And my stepdad played harmonica with that guy in bars all over Texas.
Oh.
Crazy. I'm pretty sure it's that movie that I'm thinking about.
I feel like I know this movie.
And I think his name is Billy Joe Schaefer.
I feel like that would be a movie that I would actually enjoy watching.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
It had the wrestler vibes, you know, where Mickey Rourke was the washed-up wrestler trying to never
Crazy
willing to let
Heart.
go.
Yeah.
Huh?
Crazy Heart is the movie.
Crazy Heart, yes.
Dad Blake is character's name. Former country music legend Bad Blake.
Is this more recent or is this an older film?
It is 2009.
Okay, so a little while ago.
Yeah, that's before you were born, right?
No, sir. I was born exactly 12 years earlier.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, actually, 16.
His age math is always off, but I'm
16 years earlier. I was about to say, wait a second. I graduated in 11. Me being 12 doesn't make any sense.
Crazy Heart. Well, so Crazy Heart was a novel inspired by the life of country singer Hank Thompson.
Hank what?
Thompson.
Okay, well, I got it wrong then.
Who died in 1953.
I was told it was like Billy Joe Schaefer. They're all the same.
They're all the same.
I'm sure that story is not different
Yeah.
for any of them.
Billy Joe Shaver.
Shaver?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's it.
American singer, songwriter, and actor. Oh. But Billy Joe Shaver may have been in Crazy Heart.
Oh, in the movie?
Yeah, he was an actor, and he was in Crazy Heart, which is the movie that we were just talking about.
Maybe I'm mixed up in my head about what I'm thinking. Got the names backwards. But Billy Joe Shaver's a musician as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, outlaw country musician.
Yeah, so that's who my dad played with.
Yeah.
Because you said the other guy died in the 50s, right?
The one that the book was about died in 1953.
Yeah, so that's not a thing.
But the movie, I know, was not set in the 50s.
No, it was set in the time that it would have been Billy Joe Shaver.
Right, exactly. Jordan, the 1990s were a decade where both hairstyles and shoulder pads were gradually deflating, and people forgot what pastel colors were.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your
McBoy-
help today, chat.
McBoy said, I saw a young band before they got a record deal, the Go-Go's. That's awesome. I love the Go-Go's.
I love the Go-Go's. Who was the one from the Go-Go's that went on to do the solo thing?
Belinda Carlisle.
Belinda Carlisle, yeah.
But others as well. Jane Weedlin was another one.
Oh, man. Very interesting. So here's a good question, Jason. The fire. Do I paint it like real fire or full magic fire?
I think you do what you want.
I think I'm going to.
It's not in the
Not in the art?
art.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, the rest of it comes together. I'll pick a cool color.
You're doing true metallic metal, but like non-metallic. Turned out great. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, you know,
Nice.
the idea behind non-metallic metal is painting light realistically. The problem with true metal is that it is neither true, right, nor metal. Metallic paints don't have any metal in them, and they don't reflect like metal does necessarily. They do reflect light better than normal paint. But doing the hybrid is some of the best metal you'll ever get once you get good at it, get confident in it.
That's how I like to do.
It looks really good.
Yeah, highlight it as if it's like you're thinking non-metallic, but use the metallic paints so that you still get the benefit of the light reflection in the room. That way it can kind of do double duty.
When I did like on my Day of the Dead one, I painted it in not in metallic paint, but I painted it up like it was going to be non-metallic, but not really trying, and then I just put a light coat of metallic over it.
Oh, that's right. I remember you just kind of glaze the metallic
Yeah.
back over the top. Yeah, it works really well.
Defresh said, I'm going to try a colored zenithal of Payne's Gray to dark plum and pale green from the top. Any thoughts? It's for a vampire.
Payne's Gray, dark plum, pale green from the top. The dark plum's going to be darker than the. Is it darker than Payne's Gray? Those are really similar
No.
in value.
No, the plum can be brighter. I did Payne's Gray into dark plum for my dark angels, or for my blood angels.
Oh, did you?
It works really well.
Okay, perfect.
They are both dark, but
Is this a gift for a vampire?
a gift do you get a vampire?
Sunscreen?
Like, hey, it's like your 350th birthday. The hell do you even get
Oh
somebody?
my gosh, really? How do you be creative?
Yeah, at that point.
Right?
Gotten all the gifts already.
It's like, oh, great, another snow globe.
I mean, I would assume at that point you rely on more practical stuff, right?
Socks.
Underwear?
Yeah. Things that are hard to get in their area, you know?
I think they just prefer cash.
Well, they probably
just
have
cash.
plenty of that.
I'm going to figure it out on my own. Just
Here's a gift card.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
Just grab a handful off the wall at like Best Buy or whatever it is, where you get like a Target card and
Yeah.
a couple of restaurant cards. There's a discount to Chili's.
Yeah, there's a
For the
discount
guy,
to
and the card is for the guy who has everything.
That's right.
the guy who has everything. Oh no.
I give him like a spit for his barbecue as an old Vlad the Impaler joke.
That would be so funny.
Get Vlad on it. Be like pissed off. He goes, I'm not Vlad. Does the blood bank have gift cards? Oh, a nice O positive. A fondue set, of course. A blood bank, a savings account at the blood bank. Also good. Now you guys are thinking. You took a class with Vince where you did non-metallic metal style, true metallic metal? Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, metallic medium is a great one. All the transparents are great. Well, I say all the ones that you would shadow with, and transparent white for tinting works great with metallics for the same reasons we were talking about earlier. Getting there. My gold is almost spot on with the card.
Yeah.
Just a little brighter. I'll take the bright yellow ochre over the top there, and I think we've nailed it. Then I'll start working on some of the purplish on the skin. and the smoke trail.
It's gonna be fun.
I don't really want a fondue set. I want somebody to come make fondue for me all the time.
That's definitely the best way.
I don't want to have to do any of the work.
I wouldn't want to do any work either, so I don't blame you.
I think maybe that's it. Maybe Jen and I go do fondue tonight.
Is there a fondue place around here?
I mean, there's the Melting Pot, which you probably have to have reservations for because it's like everybody's like expensive date night place.
Yeah,
it's where all the high school kids go for like prom and stuff like that.
Two things. One, school's out. Two, it's a Monday. I feel like if you were probably going to be able to go and get something without a reservation, you could probably go today.
I think it's like $60 a person.
It is not cheap. The Melting Pot is not a cheap thing.
Vector says, can you get more transparents? No. You can mix all the 9 you have. You can make 256 million colors out of the 9 you have.
That's true. That's the reason why there's a white and a black in there.
Remember, there's dark magenta sits in with them too, so technically there's 10. How much paint do you know to load in your brush when adding definition to muscles or fur? You're trying to add definition to a wolf head and the lighter colors are too harsh. Trying to add how much do you load your brush when trying to add definitions? Are you doing shadows or highlights?
Sounds like highlights from what I'm reading.
Again, the best way to be able to say this is to always over thin and work backwards in layers, but you don't want to do too many layers, of course, right? But like if you're doing a highlight and you thin it to where you can put the line on and get a little bit of color on there, but it blends and makes basically a hybrid between the bottom layer and the color you're putting on, that's perfect for your first highlight. Then go thicker and just do about half of that line. So, if I were to take, I don't have the colors out right now, but let's just do with white blue here, right? I'll just take some white blue, which is the highlight that I'll use on the smoke here. Okay. And whenever you're trying to highlight something, I will get quite a bit of water on the brush. And I'll want to have it be kind of that opacity, right? See how I'm being able to see the yellow and such through it? And then I would come in and let's just say I was going to do an edge here. Then I would be able to get some paint on that edge where it's barely visible. It just starts brightening up the edge a little bit. Right along there, see? Because the paint is so thin. And then if I wanted that edge, you can zoom in. You guys can't even tell anything's happening there. Do another pass. Right. Say we want to get this edge here. That first pass needs to be thin enough to just barely start pulling the edge away from the model like that. Right? See right in there? So that you don't get that real garish contrast all of a sudden. Then you go back and get more opacity so I don't thin it, not as much water on the brush there. And then I can come in and just at the top edge of that, do a little bit of that. Just small flicks of the brush. I don't have to do the whole area now. Because on either side of that, it then blends real quick back down into that lower opacity line. So now I get the ability to do a cool edge highlight, right, that blends off at the tail end by just do it. And if I were doing metal, I would go back in with less water on the brush and maybe just dot right in the middle here. Right. So now you've got a brighter highlight right in the middle. It extends out with the second, and then that first one that we put down, gives me that flow into the edge. And that gives you a blended edge that doesn't create a ton of contrast, because a lot of times, if you're painting on, say, the standard Space Marine, right? And we've got, the blue greave, and then I come in with white blue as a highlight because it makes sense, right? And I just do like this, right? Right? All of a sudden, I have what I call Tron suiting. Looks like he's wearing, like, you know, neon lights around the outside of the thing. Right? That doesn't give you what you're looking for. Instead, if you can imagine doing, like on his helmet up here, what we did before, and starting with a much thinner version of the color, like that, where I can still see through it, and then doing that real quick along the edges, maybe even a real quick pull down the beak. It starts basically instantly mixing with the grungy blue that was on this helmet beforehand, right? Then I come back with the opaque version of it, and I maybe just hit right at the beginning where I want it to be bright. Maybe there's just a little peak of light right there. Little peak of light right at the top of the ear dome. And maybe right here at the vent and eye. And then again, maybe right at the bridge of the nose. And then it's a lot less garish than this, even though that last bit of color I put on is the same brightness as this. Now, obviously on a little bit less darkened background, but that first thin paint for your highlight is the key, because it becomes a mid-tone, and it means you don't have to mix, you don't have to pick another color in between. You can just use your last base color and your highlight, but you're kind of 50-50ing them together by going thin with the first edge highlight or highlight that you put on, whether it's fur or whatever, and then go to full opacity for just small little touches. Game Delay says, Jordan, Tron was a movie from the 80s that made an entire generation of children think riding a motorcycle would be much cooler than it really is.
Uh-huh. So
I thought that was Easy Rider.
Easy Rider, not for kids.
I have not seen.
They die in the end. A lot of people die in Tron, technically, too, but they were disassimilated or whatever it is.
I forgot Kenny.
Discombobulated.
But they're digital programs, so that makes it more acceptable.
By the Master Control Program. And by Frisbees. Turns out, if you ever have a problem with AI, just throw a Frisbee at it. Tron taught us. Hit it with a Frisbee.
Yeah, hit it with a Frisbee.
I'm not worried about AI because I watch Tron. And I can throw a Frisbee.
Aren't they remaking the original?
I don't know. They already made like 2 or 3 more.
I think they only ever made the second one. Unless there was a sequel before.
Pretty sure, unless the second one is what I'm thinking about. I think they made like a Tron 2 where Flynn was in the computer permanently and his son came looking for him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one with Jeff Bridges. Ironically enough. He is also in that movie. That's Tron Legacy.
Well, I mean, he was in the first one. He was Flynn.
Was he really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had no idea. Well, that makes a lot more sense.
He needed the explanation of Tron. You just needed to be more specific with it. Yeah, he was in the original. He was Flynn. I think he was Flynn. Flynn's Arcade. Yep. The dude. That's what you just said. The third one was put on hold. Okay. Maybe I just heard they were making one. They made a second one and remade the original from what I recall.
6 Degrees of Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, right. So,
hey, Bud, do you know Jeff Bridges?
Well, Jeff Bridges' band will certainly play at Bud's theater.
Hey, Bud, I need you to get in contact with Jeff Bridges and tell him I think about him every day, except for the days I'm thinking of Kevin Bacon.
Jeff Bridges gets from 9:05 to 9:25 in the morning, and
Tron fights for the user.
Jared Leto's in it? No.
Show me one now, Jared Leto's in it.
That would be...
That brings us full circle,
Coincidental.
chat.
Does bring us full circle. Oh my gosh.
All right, gang. We're done.
Goodbye.
We're out of here.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us today.
If you're new here, please hit that follow button so you can get alerts for when we go live. We stream 5 days a week, both here and on YouTube simultaneously. We simulcast live to Twitch and to YouTube, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Arizona, Mountain Standard Time. We will be back again mañana. So we'd love to see you back here. Also, look at all the links that Jen put in chat there. You can join our Discord where we have, I don't know, closing in on 4,554 amazing artists and Kevin Bacon's new best friend.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm no longer an amazing artist. I got demoted. I'm no longer an amazing artist. I'm just Kevin Bacon's new best friend. I'll take that.
I was about to say, which is better?
I'll take that. It's fair trade. Fair trade.
I think you're doing
So,
pretty
but
good
great inspiration and hangouts there all the time, 24/7. So make sure to join the Discord. We'd love to see you there too. And stick around. We're going to raid somebody. Show some love in the chat. Shoot over to monumenthobbies.com. Pick up some Pro Acrylic and some Pro Series brushes. They'll change your life. And we'll see you back here mañana. Adios, gang. We're out.
Bye.
there. Bye.